So we have to specify the gender value. Only one value we have to specify, either M or F, any of the character. When coming to the age should be between 24 to 70. This is the age the user has to enter, and the department ID. You may enter, you may not enter. I'm not bothered about that. I'm making this age field also a mandatory field by using that star symbol. Now, so now this is my table is available right now here. In order to store the data inside the table, I'm providing one graphical user interface. Okay, I'm providing a graphical user interface. So now in that graphical user interface, I'm placing the various fields inside this. In order to enter the data, I'm providing a graphical user interface. To enter the name, I'm providing one text box. To enter the salary, I'm placing one more text box. To enter the gender value, I'm entering one more text box. For the age, I'm providing one more text box. And for the department ID, I'm providing one more text box. And I'm placing some labels for each and every text box right now. Employee ID. Here I'm providing employee name. And I'm providing the salary. I'm providing the gender. And I'm providing the age. And I'm providing the department ID. For this department ID, I'm placing one more text box over here so that the user can enter a department ID to which he is associated. So now this is my graphical user interface. So this is my graphical user interface in order to insert that employee record. Inside that user interface, I'm placing the two button controls where the user can able to use the two button controls in order to insert the record and in order to cancel that operation. For that, I am providing two button controls inside this. One is the save button and the second one is the cancel button. So these are the two buttons I'm placing inside my user interface. So now this is my user interface here. The user has to enter some data inside this particular user interface. Once the user has entered the data, as soon as when he click on save button, this data has to be saved into my database automatically. Nothing but inside this table here. So now for that, I'm going to be using that button control. The user has to enter the data inside this particular form. Once they have entered the data, then they have to click on the save button. As soon as when they click on save button, it has to be storing into my table here automatically inside this employee table. So now inside this employee table, it has to store this data automatically here. So now for that, the user has to click on that save button. As soon as when the user click on that save button, it has to store the data inside this table. So now, for example here, when coming to the user is using this graphical user interface. By using this graphical user interface, he is going to be creating a new record right now. So now the user is entering some data inside this. Inside this employee ID, he has entered some employee ID. This is 10001. And inside that employee name, he has entered some data like as some Ramesh Kumar. And the salary, he has entered some value as some 4,000. And the gender, he has entered as some A For the age, he has entered some value as some 47 or 46. Department ID, he has entered some value as some 2001. So now observe this one here. Whenever, as soon as when he click on that save button, whatever the data that you have entered, the whole data will be getting forwarding to the Salesforce instance. Okay, whatever the data that you have entered, the data will be forwarding to the Salesforce instance. Now, inside my Salesforce instance, I'm having my table, that is employee table is there. So now, whatever the employee ID that you have entered, that employee ID will be storing into the employee ID column. Whatever the employee name that you have entered, that will be storing into that employee name column. Whatever the salary that you have entered inside this salary column, like that, each and every value will be storing into that associated column here. But whenever you are trying to be creating the data, there's creating a new record inside this, in the database side, okay, in the database side, we have made few fields are mandatory. Like as name is a mandatory, gender is a mandatory, and the age is a mandatory. For example, here, when coming to the user, upon creating this new record, upon entering the new record data, so now inside this field, the user did not provide it. Okay, the user did not provide it the gender value. Okay, user did not provide the gender value here. So now in this kind of scenario, what will happen here? Will this record will save? No. Why? Because yes, the database is going to be expecting the value for the gender, but the user did not supply. So nothing but what happened? Whatever the data that you have entered, the data will not be saving into the associated table because some of the validations has been filed. So then what exactly the validations here? When coming to the validations, validations are nothing but the conditions which are used to validate the data before saving into that associated table. Before saving the record into that associated table, first of all, we have to make sure whether the user has entered the data for each and every field or not, which is mandatory. If the user has entered the data in those mandatory fields, then we have to verify whether this data is in a valid format or not. So now for that, in order to validate the data, in order to enforce the users to provide the proper entry of data, we are going to be using validation rules. So now when coming to the validation rules are used to enforce the user. Okay, we are enforcing the user, nothing but we are going to forcing the user to please provide the proper information. Please provide the correct information so that we should not have any inconsistent information inside our application. For that, we are going to be enforcing the user to provide the proper entry of data. So now what exactly the validation rule here? When coming to the validation rules are nothing but the set of conditions to be applied on the fields to make sure the proper entry of the data in the fields. To make sure the proper entry of the data inside the fields. So now, by using validation rules, we can enforce the user to provide the valid information for all the fields inside the user interface. Then what is the use of creating these validation rules? So now when coming to the validation rules, the main purpose of the validation rule is to maintain the accuracy of the data, to maintain the quality of the data. Suppose for example here, now let's see, I'm creating a new record inside my table. I'm creating a new record. So now I'm entering some employee ID, some 1001 or 1001. The name I have entered like some Pawan. Salary I have entered some 34,000. Gender I have entered some capital A. Age I have entered some 34. Department ID some 1001. 4001. So now these are the details I have entered here. So now is it a valid information? No. Why? Because is when coming to the gender, we are expecting either M or F. Nothing but the gender should be either M or F. Only one character should be there. But the user has entered the value as called as what? A. A means what? We don't know. So it's not a correct information. It's not a valid information. It's a inconsistent information is available, which is going to be raising some ambiguities in the future. So now for that, when coming to my application should not accept any invalid information. Always it has to accept only the valid information. So now till the user has provided the valid information, the record should not get saved. Okay, the record should not get saved. So now for that, what needs to be done? In order to maintain the quality of information, in order to maintain the accuracy of your information, we have to create this validation rule, which are going to be keep on enforcing, which are going to be keep on verifying before saving the record into that associated table. So now when coming to the validation rules are used to maintain the quality of the data and the accuracy of the data. Now, validation rules are used to maintain quality and accuracy of the data inside the application. So now when coming to the validation rules here, validation rules will be firing when? At what time the validation rules will get fired? So now whenever the user click on save button, as soon as when the user click on save button, the data should not save into the table directly. The data has to be get validated. Okay, the data has to be get validated. Now, first of all, the data has to be get validated, and then only if all the data is correct information, then only we can able to save that record into that associated table.
I think Sridhar or somebody is talking.
ऑफिस में खाना क्या करता है?
जिम के लिए तो मैं बस आज प्रोटीन पीता हूँ।
Hello?
Guys,
5-6 अंडे रोज।
नहीं मतलब जो ऑफिस में खाना लंच में क्या खाता है?
अभी आके बताता हूँ।
Siddharth, could you please mute yourself? Okay. Now, as soon as when the user click on save button, the validation rules has to be get fired. It has to validate the data before saving the record into that associated object here. Now, when coming to the validation rules, always validation rules are going to be firing before saving the record into that associated table, not after saving here. Before saving the data into that associated table, first of all, I want to validate that information which has been entered by the user in the user interface. If all the validations are correct, nothing but if all the fields values are correct in a proper format, then only I want to make it save into the table itself. Nothing but what happened before saving the record into that associated table, we have to make it file. Now, make a note. Validation rules will get fired upon saving the record into the table. Table means what? Our object. Before saving the record into that associated object, automatically the validation rule will get fired. It's not a manual process, it's an automated process. So now just we have to define what kind of validations has to be get executed before saving the record. Just we can prepare those validations and automatically those validation rules will be getting fired. So now how these validation rules will get fired here? After entering the data inside this user interface, when you click on this save button, now the save button is going to be instructing to the page layout, please fire all the validation rules which are available on that fields. So now the page layout is going to be firing all the validation rules which are available on this fields. If all the validation rules are successfully completed, then only your record will be saving into that associated table. If any of the validation rule has failed, okay, if any of the validation rule has failed, it won't save your record here. Nothing but not only at the time of creating a new record, at the time of modifying an existing record also, after modifying the data, when you click on save button, then automatically validation rules will be getting fired to you. So that not only at the time of creation, at the time of modification also. Now, upon updating the existing records, also validation rules will get fired. Now, so now validation rules will be firing before inserting the record, if it is a new one, or if it is an existing record. If you are modifying that record values, then at that time also, before updating the data into that object, it will be getting fired to you. In the both the cases, the validation rules get fired. So now, when coming to the validation rules, how many types of validation rules are available here? Basically, we have two types of validation rules. First one is the client side validation, and the second one is the server side validation. So now we can validate the data in two places. One is at the client side, second one is at the server side. Client side means what? At the user interface level. So now when coming to my application, this is the client. Okay, this is nothing but the client. Or this is called as a front end. Or this is called as a page layout as part of our Salesforce terminology. So now this is the back end here. Nothing but the server side. This is called as a back end. Now, so now when coming to the validations here, if you want to find the validation, then here we have the two ways are there. One is we can find the validations at the client side, or we can validate the validation rules at the server side also. So now what do you mean by client side validations? What do you mean by server side validations? So now when coming to the client side validations, instead of validating the data at the server side, okay, instead of validating the data at the server side, first of all, we have to validate the data at the client side itself. Nothing but before sending the request from the Salesforce, from your browser to the Salesforce instance, first of all, we have to make sure, okay, we have to make sure inside our user interface level itself, we have to make sure that whether we have entered the proper entry of data in all these fields or not. So now in this kind of scenario here, what we can do, we have to prepare some conditions, and then we have to find those conditions before saving the record into that associated table. Nothing but as soon as when you click on save button, automatically those condition has to get filed. It has to verify whether the user has entered the data in all these fields or not. So now for that, I want to make this validation rules will be get filed in the client side itself. Client means the browser which we are using in order to access that application. In the browser level itself, we are going to be validating the data here. Now, the second one, instead of validating the data at the browser level here, I want to validate the data at the server level. So why? Because is when coming to the Salesforce, if you want to create the record inside that Salesforce object, then not only the page layout, we are having some multiple ways are there. If you want to insert the records inside this table, we can able to use this page layout also. But by using this page layout, how many records can I insert at a time? Only one. After creating the first record, then one more record, and then one more record, and then one more record. Like that, one by one, we can create the records. But if I'm creating one by one, then how many records can I create? It will be taking more time if you want to create some millions of records. For that, what I want to do is, I don't want to use this page layout here. I want to use some other alternative way by which I can create more number of records in a single attempt, in a single shot. Like as we can use some Apex programming language also. By using Apex programming language, I want to create some multiple records also. It may be 10 records, it may be 20 records, or 100 records, 1000 records, 1 lakh records, or whatever. By using Apex programming, I want to create some hundreds of records, or I want to create some millions of records also through programmatically. Or if you don't know the programming language to create the records manually, then we can able to go with some tools also. Like as we are having some tools given by the Salesforce, like as data loader. By using data loader tool also, we can able to insert some records. Up to 5 million records we can able to insert. Or if you want to insert more number of records, more than 5 million, then we can use some third-party tools also, like as some Informatica Cloud. By using some Informatica Cloud, we can able to insert some millions of records also inside this particular table itself in a single shot. So at that time, I'm not using this graphical user interface, just I'm going to be directly connecting to my database itself. So now here in this kind of scenario, then how can we validate the data? So now for that, they have given one more option, not only validating the data at the browser level, we can validate the data at the server side also, nothing but at the backend also. In the database level also, in the table level also, we can able to validate the data here. Then how can we validate the data at the table level? Before inserting the record into that associated table, first of all, I want to validate the data here. Suppose, for example, come to a general scenario. Assume that next week, I'm planning to attend a marriage here. There is a marriage function is there. I want to attend that marriage function in the next week. So now, as part of the preparation of that marriage function, I want to buy some wardrobes. I want to buy a t-shirt. I want to buy a jeans. In order to buy some t-shirt and jeans, we are having so many shopping malls are there where we can go to the shopping mall and we can able to buy a t-shirt and the jeans. So now I went to a shopping mall. For example, I'm having a central shopping mall in Hyderabad, which is a very popular. So now I went to the central shopping mall here. Whenever you are entering the shopping mall, for every shopping mall, you will be having that two gates are available. One is the entry gate, second one is the exit gate. So now that shopping mall is nothing but what? It's a property belongs to a builder or an organization or an individual person also. This is a property. In order to protect their property from the damages, they are going to be appointing some security personals. Okay, they are appointing some security personals. In the entry gate, you will be having some security personals. Everybody, nothing but each and every customer has to enter into the shopping mall through that entry gate itself. Whenever the person is trying to be entering into the shopping mall, immediately security persons will be getting alerted. Okay, he will be getting alert. He won't allow you to enter into the shopping mall directly. First of all, he is going to be moving you to the security counter. Instead of allowing you to the shopping mall directly, he will be moving into the security counter. Now at that security counter, they are going to be verifying whether do you have any unwanted items like as pistols, bombs, knives, all these things. Nothing but they're validating you. If you're having any unwanted items, then they won't allow you to enter into the shopping mall. They will throw you out. If you don't have any unwanted items, then they will be allowing you to enter into that shopping mall here. Nothing but what happened in our general scenario also, we are going to be validating that people before entering into that associated shopping mall. Nothing but here, who are validating this one? Security personnel. Security persons are nothing but what? These are nothing but the validation tools. These are nothing but the triggers. When it will get fired, whenever a new customer is trying to be entering into the shopping mall, automatically it will get fired. They will be getting alerted. So like the same way here also, whenever you are trying to be creating some new records inside this table, automatically some functionalities has to be get alerted. Some functionalities has to be get fired. For that, we are going to be using a feature called as triggers. Okay, triggers. So now triggers are nothing but what? Triggers are nothing but the custom business logic given by the user, which is going to be firing automatically before inserting the record, before updating the records as well. So now when coming to the triggers are nothing but like as the security personals, which are going to be getting alerted whenever you are trying to be creating some new records inside this object. So nothing but what happened, in order to validate the data, we have two ways are there. One is we can validate the data in the user interface level, nothing but in the page level itself, browser level itself, or we can able to validate the data at the database level also here. Then how can we validate the data at the user interface level? In order to validate the data in the user interface level, we have to write some code. Okay, we have to add some conditions with the help of some scripting languages. So now for that, what needs to be done? We have to use some scripting languages.
Firoz?
Yeah.
For every object, do we need to have a client side and the server side validation, or because if that having a trigger for every object, it's like a lot of load, right? So that, I mean, like, what is the standard? Like, do we see that, okay, this table is going to do data loader or other bulk loaders? Then we need to have a trigger so that we can avoid unwanted data. Or is it mandatory for all the tables to have a triggers to validate, just like replication of client side?
Yes, yes. So now when coming to the validations, we have to create for each and every object. Okay, let me give me 5 minutes time so that you can understand some more. Okay, now.
Okay.
So now, in order to validate the data at the client side, nothing but in the browser level, in this user interface level, we have to use some scripting languages to write that code. By writing some code, by using the scripting languages, we can validate the data in the user interface level. So now, like as we can able to use some scripting languages also, like as some JavaScript, or we can use some VB script, we can use some JScript, we can use some jQuery, we can use some Angular JS, we can use some Backbone JS, we can use some Knockout JS, we can use some extension JS. Like that, so many libraries are available. We are having a set of libraries are available, which are purely used to implement the client-side validations. So now, by using the scripting languages, we can able to write the code and then we can able to validate the data here. For example, I have used some jQuery or JavaScript, whatever. I have written some code. So now then where I can include this code inside my application, inside my page layout. Why? Because is as soon as when I click on that save button on the page layout, as soon as when I click on that save button on the page layout, this code has to get filed. It has to validate my data here. So now when coming to the page layout, can you see the page layout code which has been given by Salesforce? No. Can you include this validation code which we have prepared by using this JavaScript? No. Nothing but what happened when coming to the page layout code cannot be modified by the user. Just we can able to customize that page layout whatever given by the Salesforce to you. Like as you can add some sections, you can place some fields, you can make some fields are mandatory. Like that, only those options we can able to perform. But we cannot include any scripting language code inside your page layout. So nothing but what happened, there is no chance of using the scripting languages in order to validate the data at the client side. Then how can we validate the data in my user interface level? So for that here, Salesforce is giving an option called as validation tools. Salesforce has given an option called as validation tools. So now when coming to the validation tools here, Salesforce people has provided a set of ready-made functions by which we can able to validate the data at the client side itself instead of using any scripting languages, instead of learning any scripting languages, instead of writing some additional code to validate the data. Don't use any scripting languages. Just we can able to use the ready-made functions given by Salesforce by which we can able to validate the data at the client side itself. So now what kind of validations we can do at the client side? Okay, what kind of validations we can do at the client side here? Now, now, in order to do the validations at the client side, no need to use any scripting languages code. Salesforce is providing a set of ready-made functions by which we can validate the data at the client side itself. So now those functions are ready-made functions given by Salesforce to you. Just to use those functions and pass those field values, automatically those functions will take care of to validate your data before saving the record into that associated table. So now what kind of validations we can do? Like we can able to verify whether the user has entered the data inside a field or not. Nothing but we can make it as mandatory. And if the user has entered the data, then in which format the user has entered the data, whether it is a correct format or not, we can validate that. If the user has entered some data, then whether it is in a valid range or not, everything we can able to validate here. Okay, everything we can able to validate. So now, but when coming to the user interface level, we cannot perform any duplication checks. Like duplication checks means whenever I'm trying to be creating a new employee record, then I have entered some employee name. Okay, I have entered some employee name. So now with this employee name, do we have any record is exist or not? Then how can we cross check? For that, we have to go to the database, because all the employees are available, employee names are available inside my database table. So that we have to go to the employee name table database, and then we have to verify with this name already an employee is exist or not. We cannot cross check with the help of that client side validation. So at that time, we have to go for that server side. Nothing but duplication check cannot be possible with the help of the scripting languages code. So for that, always we have to use that server side scripting. Then how can we implement the server side scripting? Server side scripting can be implemented with the help of the triggers. This will be with the help of triggers itself here. Client-side validations we can able to implement with the help of any scripting languages, or we can use that validation tools. But when coming to the server-side scripting, nothing but server-side validations can be done with the help of triggers. Nothing but whenever the people are trying to be inserting the record by using any other alternative channels, at that time, always the triggers will get fired. Okay, always the triggers will get fired, which is going to be validating the data here. So now suppose, for example, if I'm creating any validation rule by using the ready-made functions given by Salesforce, will it be fired whenever I'm creating the record through Apex programming? Yes, that possibility is there here. When coming to the Salesforce, whatever the validation rules that you have created by using the ready-made functions, these validation rules are getting fired whenever you are creating the record by using page layout, or whenever you are creating the records by using the Apex programming, whenever you are creating the records by using some data loader, whenever you are creating some records by using some third-party tools also. Nothing but whatever the option that you want to create the record inside the table, in all the cases, your validation rules will get fired. Once the validation rules has been satisfied, then only your record will be getting acceptable to store inside that associated table, or else it won't accept. Now, so for that here, when coming to the validation rules are getting fired in all the cases. Okay, in all the cases, upon whenever you are inserting the record by using page layout, or by using Apex programming, or by using the data loader, or by using that other third-party tools also. In all the cases, validation rules will get fired to you. So that no need to define the validation rule separately on the client side, no need to define the validation rule separately on the server side itself. Whatever the validation rules that you have defined, those will be getting fired in both the cases as well. It may be on the client side, it may be on the server side also, both will get fired. But the complex validation rules, like as the database duplication checks and all these things, we can implement with the help of triggers. Why? Because is we have to go to the database table first. We have to make a query. Okay, we have to make a query to verify with this username and with this employee name, do we have any employee record is exist or not. For that, we have to enter into the table, get the data by using some SQL queries. By fetching the data, we can validate that. But by using validation tools, we cannot execute any SQL queries. So for that, we have to go with the triggers. Nothing but whenever if you're having any complex validation rules, then at that time, we have to go for the triggers. Now the validation can be done with the help of the two ways. One is we can able to create some validation rules, and the second one is by using the triggers. The simple basic validations we can done with the help of validation rules, and the complex validation rules which requires to interact with the database table, at that time we have to go with the triggers. Now let's see. That's what here when coming to the triggers we can say simply, okay, when coming to the validation rules are nothing but the ready-made triggers given by the Salesforce. Okay, these are nothing but the ready-made triggers given by the Salesforce, which will be built in by that Salesforce itself by default. Just we have to use that function and we have to pass that value. That's it. Now when coming to the validations, client-side validation and the server-side validations here. So now we are having the validations at the client side and we are having the validations at the server side also. Client-side validations can be done.
Firoz, can I?
Yeah.
So the client side validations would be executed in the browser, right?
Yes.
And this, if the server side, like I'm assuming like it would be on the server side, right? Like the client side would be in the browser, right?
Yes.
So now so here is other than these two, like, is there another? Is we have two types, or is there another way also? Do we have anything called workflows or something?
Yes, see, when coming to the workflows are always firing after that. Okay, see, for example, assume that.
Mhm.
Assume that I have a bank account. In my bank account, I'm having some amount. Now, today is some month last, nothing but last working day of the month. My company has credited some salary into my account. As soon as that amount has been getting credited, okay, as soon as that amount has been credited, once the amount has been credited, nothing but not before, okay, once the amount has been credited, then you will be getting the alert. It may be SMS alert, it may be in email alert also. Nothing but that your account has been credited with so and so amount, this is the available balance. You will be receiving the same message with the help of an email notification also here. Nothing but what happened, workflows are always firing after performing that operation, not before. But validations are always firing before performing that operation. Like, for example, I want to transfer the amount here. Now, when coming to my account, I'm having some 10,000 rupees. Okay, I'm having some 10,000 rupees inside my account. I want to transfer some 5,000 rupees to my friend because he is in need of some money, so that I want to transfer. Now, when you click on transfer button, first of all, it is verifying. Nothing but before transferring the amount, it is verifying whether the source account is having the sufficient funds or not. Nothing but what happened, it is doing that validation. Now, in order to initiate the transaction, first of all, this source account, nothing but the person is having the sufficient balance or not. Nothing but it is validating the data here. Once the data has been correct, nothing but he is having the sufficient funds, then it is going to be invoking the transaction. Once the transaction has been done, it will be sending the notification to you that your account has been debited with so and so amount. That's what here, validation rules are always firing before performing the operation, and the workflows are always firing after performing that operation. Before and after. These are the two ways are there. For every
Okay.
operation, before and after. Okay?
Okay.
Now.
All right. Okay.
So now we are having this validation here, client side and the server side. So now, when coming to the client side and the server side, which one is the most recommended one? Do we need to validate the data at the client side always, or we need to validate the data at the server side? When coming to the validation, always it is recommended to do the validations at the client side only, because don't put more load on the database server. Utilize the database resources very, very efficiently. So for that here, always it is recommended to have the validations at the client side. Once the user has entered the data in the correct format, then only we can able to send the request to the Salesforce server or to the any application, whatever it may be, Java application, it may be .NET application or whatever. So now don't unnecessarily make more number of server trips, which is going to be causing that performance issues. So for that here, always verify each and every field value inside the browser side itself. If everything is fine, if the user has entered the data in all the mandatory fields, if the user has entered the data in the correct format, then only we can able to send the request to that Salesforce server so that it can able to insert that record into that associated object, or it can update that record values. So that it is always recommended to validate the data at client side. It is always recommended to validate the data at client side. So which is very, very flexible to us. So for that here, even though you are having two types of validations, we need to validate the data only at the client side itself in most of the cases. But in some cases, we have to go for that server side also, because with the client side, we cannot perform all those things. Now, then how can we validate the data at the client side here? In order to validate the data at the client side, Salesforce is providing some set of ready-made functions. Salesforce provides some set of ready-made functions by which we can able to validate the data over here. Now Salesforce is providing some set of ready-made functions to you by which we can able to validate the data here. Then what are the various functions offered by Salesforce as part of the validation rules? Then how can we validate the data? Now we'll see practically here. So now when coming to the validation rules, in order to validate the data, we can create one or more number of validation rules. Like, for example, I'm having a login screen. So now when coming to the login screen, before click on that login button, first of all, we have to enter the username, we have to enter the password, because both are mandatory fields. Nothing but we are validating the data at the client side. Now, the second case. Once the user has entered the username and the password, we need to verify that. When coming to my username text box, I'm having some limitation. Username should be minimum 8 characters and the maximum from 20 characters. So that we need to verify if the user has entered some data in the username text box, then I want to verify whether this username text box is having the characters minimum 8 and the maximum 20 characters or not. Nothing but both the things we are verifying here. We are verifying whether the user has entered or not. If the user has entered, then we are verifying then how many characters he has entered. Within the specified range or outside of the range he has entered. We are going to verifying all these things. Nothing but proper entry of data is exist inside those fields or not, we are verifying here. So for that, we can able to create multiple validation rules are also on the single field. Nothing but to verify whether the user has entered the username or not, we are preparing one validation rule. To verify whether the username is having minimum 8 characters and the maximum 20 characters, we are writing one more validation rule. Like that here, on a single field, we can able to write the multiple validation rules also. That possibilities are available here. Then how many validation rules can I have per an object here? Now, let's make a note. We can have n number of validation rules per an object, but at a time, maximum of 100 validation rules will be inactive. Okay, inactive status. When coming to the validation rules here, validation rules are nothing but the pluggable components. Whenever you want this validation, then you can make it plug in. If you don't want, you can make it plug out. Like as in order to make it plug in and plug out, we are having a switch that is called as active inactive. Nothing but one checkbox field will be available to you. By using the checkbox field, we can able to make it active and the inactive. Why? Because is, for example, I'm having some validation rule on my field. Now we are using since a long time, we are validating the data. But now the client says, no, I don't want this validation from now onwards. So that what we can do generally, we are going to be removing that associated code from that application. But don't remove that code. Just we can able to make it deactivated. Maybe after some time, the client may raise one more question. So please provide that validation rule again. So at that time, instead of writing that same code again and again and again, just we can able to make it deactivated here. Whenever in future, if the client asks us to provide that validation rule again, then we can simply make it as active. For that here, for each and every validation rule, we are having a checkbox which is indicating whether this validation rule to be get fired or not. To indicate that, we are going to be indicating with the help of an active checkbox. If the validation rule is in an active status, then it will be getting fired upon saving the record or upon modifying that record. If the validation rule is inactive status, it won't fire that validation. Even though that validation rule will be there inside your application, it won't get fired for you. So for that here, we can able to make it as active and the inactive status. So that even though you are having some n number of validation rules per an object, but at a time, maximum of 100 validation rules will be inactive status, not more than that. The Salesforce won't allow you to make more than 100 validation rules in active status. This is a limitation. When coming to the certification point of view, these kind of limitations are very, very important. Now, when coming to the validation rule, how can we prepare these validation rules? We will see practically now here. Now, when coming to the validation rules, these can be implemented with the help of the various ready-made functions given by the Salesforce. Now, from those functions, the first function is blank function. So now in this is blank function, we have to pass the field name or the API name if it is a custom field. This is blank function is going to be returning a Boolean value to you. Okay. So now as a thumb rule in every programming language, as a coding standards and the naming convention, whenever if the function name has been starts with is, it means it is returning a Boolean value to you, true or false value. Now, So now E is blank, nothing but whatever the field name that we have specified, we can able to verify whether it is blank or not. Nothing but I want to make some fields are mandatory here. Okay, I want to make some fields are mandatory here. So now further we are using this validation rules also. Already we have discussed to you initially, whenever if you want to make a field required, nothing but mandatory, we have that 4 options are there. 4 ways are there to make a field required. One is at the time of creating that field, we can select the required checkbox, which is going to be making the field required. Second one, once the field has been created, then at the time of page layout customization, you can go to that page layout customization, select that field, and then when you double click on that, the properties will get opened. In that, we can select either read only, required. 2 options are there. Nothing but by using page layout customization also, we can make that field required. And the third option we have discussed by using validation rules, which we are discussing right now. And then the fourth option is trigger. When moving forward in the development concept, we'll see how can we use the triggers in order to make your field required. All the 4 options we'll see practically over here. Now, so now here I'm using this, the isBlank function. So what exactly the functionality of this isBlank function here? This isBlank function will return true if the specified field is blank. Nothing but if the value is not available in the field, if it is empty, it is returning true to you, or if it is not blank, it will be returning false to you. Now, it returns true when the specified field value is blank. Else, it returns false. Else, it returns false. Then how can we verify that? For example, is blank of name field, is blank of some PAN number field, is blank of the billing address, nothing but the billing street, is blank of billing country. Like that, we can able to validate that here. So now, when coming to the isBlank function will return true when the specified field value is blank. Else, it will be returning the false value to you. So now when coming to the validation rule, then by using this isBlank function, how can we prepare the validation rule? Now let's see practically here. Then how can we create a validation rule? Now let's see. Now let's take a requirement here. Create a validation rule. Let's take any of the object now. Like as I'm taking my account. So now inside my account object, I'm having some account site. Okay, I'm having some account site field. I want to make this field as mandatory here. Okay, I want to make this field as mandatory. Now, create a validation rule to make the account site field as required. Then how can we make a field required by using these validation rules? Now we will see practically over here. Now, in order to make this field required, we are using that isBlank function. So now here, how to create this validation rule? Now let's see. In order to create that validation rule, let's go to this navigation first here. Now, go to Accounts tab and click on it and expand the first.com quick access menu. Click on View Validation Rules link. and click on new button to create a new validation rule. And enter the validation rule name and the description. Enter the validation rule name and the description. Select the active checkbox to make the validation rule active. Enter the validation condition inside the editor. Use the check syntax button to verify the syntax of the validation condition. And enter the error message. Enter the error message to be displayed upon validation fails. Ninth one. Select the error location. It may be at the top of the page or at the field level. And the 10th one is click on save button. So these are the steps that we need to follow in order to create a new validation rule on that account object field.
Firoz, using validation, can we do like dependence checks also? Like this has entered, this should enter. Like two radio buttons are there, or one radio button, one. If you cross, cross fields also we can do.
Yes. We can do that cross field also. We are discussing all these things
Okay.
now. So now let's see how can we create this validation rule. I want to create a validation rule on the account object in order to make that account a site field value as required. Let's go to that account object, create the validation rule. I will show you two navigations to you again. One is the standard navigation, second one is the first.com quick access menu. In order to go to the standard navigation, go to the setup menu, go to the build menu in the left panel. I want to customize the standard object. Click on customize. Go to that required object on which you are going to creating the validation rules. Go to that accounts and expand it. Click on validation rules. Okay, you will be having an option called as validation rules. When you click on validation rules, it is going to be giving that option to create the validation rule. If you have created any validation rules as of now, all those validation rules will be getting listed out to you over here. If you don't have anything, then we can create a new one also by using that new button. Now, the second option here, the second navigation is first.com quick access menu. Now click on that object tab, expand the first.com quick access menu, click on view validation rules link. It is providing all the validation rules which you have created in the past. If nothing is there, it is making that list as empty so that we can create one or more validation rules on these object fields. Now there is no validation rules available on this object as of now. Now it is giving this information. Validation rules help improve data quality by preventing users from saving incorrect data. Nothing but before saving the record information into the table, first of all, we need to validate whether the user has entered the proper entry of information or not, by which we can maintain the quality and the accuracy of your information. Now, you can define one or more validation rules that consist of an error condition, nothing but the validation condition, and corresponding error message, nothing but which message you want to show when the validation has been filed. Now, Validation rules are executed at a record save time, nothing but whenever you are saving that record. Okay, whenever you are saving that record, now it may be creating a new one, it may be modifying an existing one. Before saving that record or before updating that existing record, it will be firing that validation rule to you. Now, if the validation rules are successful, it will be saving that record to you. If the validation rules or any of the validation has been failed, it is going to be aborting your save operation. It will be displaying that error message to you. Now, it is giving that information. If an error condition is met, the save is aborted and an error message will be displayed to you. Okay. If the validation has been failed, it will be giving that error message to you automatically. Now let's see how can we create a validation rule on my object field. Now click on new button to create a new validation rule. Now you will be having that fields rule name, nothing but with which name you want to create the validation rule. And then you will be having that active status. You want to make this validation rule as active or not. The description for the validation rule. And here we have to place your error condition. Whatever the conditions that you want to use to validate the data, write that condition here. After writing that conditions, if you want to cross check whether this syntax is correct or not, then you can use that check syntax button here. And then after that, once the validation has been failed, okay, if the validation has been failed, if the data is incorrect format, then which error message you want to show? Write that error message inside this text area here, whatever the error message you want to show. And while displaying the error message, we can specify the location where you want to show that, on top of the page or on the field level, so that we can use the error location where you want to show that error message here. You can specify at the top of the page or at the field level also here. If it is a field level, at what field level, you can specify that. So now all these functionalities are available. Just we have to use that graphical user interface to create that validation rules instead of learning any scripting languages to validate the data. So now I'm preparing a rule here. I'm creating the validation rule, make account a site field required. I'm giving that validation rule name. I'm giving the description. This rule is used to make the account a site field as required. Okay, as required. So now here I want to make that account a site field as a required field. Then, in order to make a field required, then what we can do? What is the function that we have to use? Now we have discussed a function here, isBlank function. IsBlank function is used to verify whether the field is having any value or not. Making the field required means what? We have to verify, we have to make sure that field should have some value inside that. So now for that we are using isBlank function. So now isBlank of what? We have to specify that the field name. If it is a standard field, we have to specify the field name. If it is a custom field, then we have to specify that field API name inside that. Already we have discussed initially, for each and every field, we are having the two properties. If it is a standard field, we have the field label and the field name. If it is a custom field, we have the field label and the API name. So now API name is going to be describing the actual column name inside the table. So that always we have to use that API names or the field names whenever you are going to be referencing that field. Field labels are only for the display purpose. We cannot use that field labels. Always we have to use that field names. Now, so now for this account site, we have a field is available here. Whenever you are writing that code, if you are not able to remember the syntaxes of those functions, then we can able to get those functions information from this particular list. Now this is the list is available here. Now there is a list box is available. Inside this list box, all the functions names has been populated to you. Now all these functions has been categorized into the 4 categories, like as a date and time related function. All the date and time related functions will be populated to you. If you are selecting the logical, all the logical related functions will be populated to you. If I'm selecting math, all the mathematical functions will be populated. If I'm selecting text, all the text related functions. If I'm selecting advanced, all the advanced related functions will be populated to you here. If you want to see all the functions at a time, then click on all function categories. All the functions will be getting populated here. Suppose if you don't know what exactly the syntax, if you don't know what is the description of the function, just select that function automatically. Here you will be getting that information. Now it is going to describing what is the description of the functionality here. Now suppose if I'm selecting and, it is giving the description to me. If I'm selecting some blank value, it is giving some description to me. Case, some description. Nothing but what happened, whenever I'm selecting that function automatically, it is providing the description about that function over here. Now if you need any help on this one, if you need any sample examples, then you can click on this help on this function. When you click on this link, automatically Salesforce is providing that help information also on that here, so that directly we can able to get some help on that functions also. That flexibility is available to you. Now, so now whenever you are going to be writing these functions validation rules, then no need to type anything here. Everything we can able to perform through the mouse pointers itself. So now for my functionality, I need to prepare a validation rule. Then how can we make this field as mandatory here? Now in this case, we have to prepare that validation condition. So now what is the validation condition? What is the condition do we need to use? We have to use is blank of the site field. Nothing but site means account site. For that account site field, we are having that field API name or the field name as site. So that simply specify is blank of site. Now, in order to type that information, if you are feeling difficulty to type is blank of site, then you can use it through the graphical user interface also. Just to go to these functions, inside that list, you will be having that function is available, is blank. So now we are having that function is available here, is blank function is there. Simply select that function, click on insert selected function. Automatically the function will be included over here. So now is blank of expression. Nothing but we have to specify that field name or the field label API name. Now in this expression place, I want to place that field name. Then do you need to type that field name manually? No, don't type that field name manually. If you don't know that field API name, simply use that button called as insert field button. You will be having a button called as insert field button. So now by using this insert field button, we can able to insert some field name directly here. Or if you want to use any operators inside this, you can use all the operators which are given by the Salesforce. Mathematical operators, logical operators, comparison operators, everything we can able to use inside this validation condition over here. Now, I want to write that the account site field name inside this is blank function. Simply place that cursor inside that location where you want to place that API name, field API name. Click on insert button. It is providing all the fields available inside this object. Now currently we are in the account object right now. All the fields will be getting populated to you over here. Select that field which you want to use. Now I want to use that account site. Select that account site. Now this field API name is what? Site. Just to simply click on insert. Automatically your validation condition is ready. Instead of typing that information, just by using the mouse pointer itself, we can able to prepare that validation condition now. So now the validation condition is available here. Once you are done with the validation condition, if you want to verify whether the syntax is correct or not, click on check syntax button. Click on check syntax. It is verifying the syntax here. Now there is no errors available, so that it is giving the message no errors found. Okay, there is no errors available here. If there is any errors are available, it is populating those error messages over here itself. So now as of now, we don't have any error message right now. Now, if the field is blank, nothing but if the field is blank, then what needs to be done? I want to show some error message to the user here. What is that error message? Type that error message over here. Please enter account site value. I want to show some message. Please enter account site value. So now where you want to show this error message here? I want to show this error message on the top of the page. Now let's save this one. Once you have entered that, simply we have to enter the validation rule name and the description. Description is not a mandatory, but it is always recommended to give some comment on that functionality, so that in future we can get some idea what is the purpose of this validation tool. No need to look into the code, just by observing that name itself, we can get some information on that. And specify the validation condition and specify the error message and specify the location where you want to show that error message here. Now click on save. Your validation is done. One validation rule we have created right now. Now let's try to create a new account record right now here. Click on new button. And create a new account record. I'm entering some value for this account record here. I'm giving the name as validation rule test. I'm entering some account number. I'm not entering the account site value. I'm making it as a blank here. Rating value, the heart, fax number, number of employees, SIC code, annual revenue. I'm entering the website and the industry, contact number, PAN number, passport number. I'm making this active status as yes. Now I haven't entered any value for that account site. This field is still blank here. When you click on that save button, observe what will happen. As soon as when you click on save button, the save button is instructing to the page layout, please fire all the validation rules which are available on these fields. Whatever the fields are there on the page layout, on those fields, if you have created any validation rules, those validation rules will get fired to you. Now, once the validations are successfully completed, then only your record will be sending to the Salesforce server to make it save. If any of the validation rule has been failed, it will be aborting your save operation. It will show the error message to you here. Now, as soon as when I click on save, it is going to be giving that error message to me here. My record is not yet saved. It is giving some error messages to me over here. Observe this one. So now in the page level, it is giving that error message here. Now, invalid data. Review all error messages below to correct your data. Please enter account site value. Nothing but it is giving that information. Please enter account site value. Here, this is one of the error message. But where is this account site field? How do we know? The customer has to search into that here. Why? Because is when coming to an object, we are able to create maximum of 800 custom fields inside an object here. If it is an unlimited edition. Now, if I'm having some 800 fields are there, then how much big my user interface? My user interface may be having so many fields on that. All the 800 fields are there on my user interface. From those big user interface, how can we find out where exactly this account site field is there? That will be very, very difficult to me. So for that here, when coming to the customer, I don't want to give any confusion to the customer. I want to indicate the location. This is the field. This is the location where you did the mistake. You haven't entered the value. So please enter the value for this field level. So that here, instead of displaying the error message at the page level, I want to show that error message at the field level here. Then how can we specify? Now let's see practically over here. Now go to your validation rule. Once you have created the validation rule, click on edit button to modify that validation rule conditions. I want to show that error message at the field level. Instead of displaying that error message at the top of the page, I want to show at the field level. Now select that field level here. At which field level you want to show? This validation rule is associated with the account site field. So that I want to show this error message at the account site field level. So that select that field here. Now this is account site. Select that field. Now make it save. So now my validation rule has been saved successfully over here. Let's go to your validation rule. Nothing but your record. Now click on save. Observe what will happen here. Now what we have identified now in this case? In this case, it is displaying the error message on the top of the page itself. Nothing but there are some validations has been failed. Now this is the location where it is exactly expecting some value for this field. Nothing but not only displaying the error message at the page level, okay, at the field level also we can able to show that error message over here. So now exactly it is going to be indicating this is the field where it requires the value which is indicating with that error message whatever you have entered. Now it is displaying that error, please enter account site value. Nothing but this is a mandatory field so that the user has to enter that data here. Now I'm entering the value inside this, like some manufacturing division. I have entered some value here. Now when you click on save button, your record will be getting saved automatically for you. Okay, your record will be getting saved automatically for you. So now this is the way we can able to create the validation rules in our Salesforce. Now, once your record has been getting created, I'm updating the record right now here. Let's go to the record, click on edit button in order to modify the record values. I'm making this customer rating value as warm. I have changed some field value. Now I'm going to be making this account site value as empty right now here. Nothing but at the time of modification, also observe this one. Not only at the time of creating the new record, at the time of modifying an existing record also, we can able to, it will be getting filed. Now, while modifying my existing record, I am going to be making this account site as empty. When you click on save button, it won't accept to save your record. Nothing but there is a validation has been failed. Nothing but what happened here, when coming to the validations are going to be firing always before saving the record, before creating a new record, and before updating an existing record always. Nothing but upon save time, automatically your validation rules will get fired by default. So now enter the values inside this. I'm entering some data here, like as oil and gas industry. Now let's make it save. Your record will be getting acceptable to save your record here automatically. Your record has been saved successfully over here. So this is a way we can able to create that validation rules. Okay, here's the process to create that validation rules right now. Now let's see here. For example, when you go to that new button to create a new record, now do we have any red color indication is there to indicate this is a mandatory field? No, right? Whenever you are going to be making the field required by using that required checkbox and by using page layout, it is going to be marking that red color bar symbol along with that field. Okay, red color bar symbol. But whenever you are creating the validation rules on that field, it won't provide any red color bar symbol here. So why? Because is if you are having some more number of fields are there inside my user interface, if most of the fields we have made it as mandatory, at that time it is going to be displaying most of the fields with the red color bar symbol. Whenever the user click on the new button to create a new record, he will observe that user interface. In that user interface, it will be purely looking like as a reddish, like as most of the fields are with the red color bar symbol. Now he will be get shocked because we are having so many fields are there. Most of the fields are mandatory field, so that we have to enter the data. It will take more time. I'm not having that much of sufficient time. Even though that person is completely busy for the whole day, he won't spend much time to enter the data inside that fields. For that here, in order to capture the customer slowly to our side, we are going to be making only few fields with that red color bar symbol by using that required checkbox and by using that page layout customization. Now the people will start off only 4 fields are there which are mandatory, so that will take less time so that we can enter the data inside that. Once the user has entered the data inside that field, when you click on save button, automatically my validation rule will get fired. It will be asking you to please provide the value for this one. You will start off only one field is there, enter the data. When you save that one, automatically one more validation rule will get fired. It will ask you to provide the data for this field. Like that, slowly we can able to capture to the customer to our side. This is one of the business strategy for that. They have given this 4 options to create them, making that field mandatory, but 2 options are going to be displaying that field with the red color bar symbol, and the triggers and the validation rules will not display with the red color bar symbol to you. Okay, that is the functionality here. So that few fields we can make it mandatory by providing the red color bar symbol. Few fields we can make it mandatory without providing the red color bar symbol here. Okay.
Firoz, you said that these validation rules are like the client side, and even if I create a record through Apex or data loader,
Yes.
this will be fired?
Yes, it will get fired. Whenever whenever you are trying to be creating that record through the Apex programming, then automatically this validation rule will get fired. Now, let me show you practically here. I will try to create a record through Apex programming. So now I'm creating a record through my Apex programming right now. I'm passing the value for these fields. ACC dot annual revenue, I'm entering some value. For the rating, I'm giving some value.
Is it case insensitive, Firoz, this Apex?
Yeah, it's case sensitive. It's not a case sensitive like as a Java programming. You can use
Oh,
what
okay.
case that you want.
Oh, okay.
Then banking, and then we can pass the value for the PAN number field. I'm passing some value here. Now, once you are done, we can specify that insert ACC. So now here I'm going to be passing the value for most of the fields right now. So the contact number, industry, website, and the passport number. I'm passing that value here. ACC dot passport.
So like Java, we won't get the like if I put ACC, it won't get the field name. What like?
Yeah, it will get that. Okay, I will show you that option also. In the developer console, you will be getting the complete intelligence also to you.
Yeah, intelligence. Yes.
Now we are having that website. Website, I'm specifying. So now here I have entered the value for few fields, like as a name field, annual revenue field, rating field, industry, PAN number, phone number, passport number, website. But I haven't entered the data inside that account site field. Let me try to insert this record. Simply click on execute button. It will
So
be giving
how did you get here, Feroz?
sorry.
To this, how did you get to this? Like, so you went to developer console, and was it? How did you navigate to this one?
Yeah,
like, you know,
I will
to
show you.
enter this.
I will show you that.
Okay.
Now, as soon as whenever I'm trying to be saving this record, okay, it will be inserting that record automatically here, because there is no concept of SQL queries like as insert statement, update statement, delete statement, nothing is there. No need to write query like as insert into table name, column names, values, nothing will be there. Just we can able to use that, create the object of the associated class and access each and every field as the variable inside that class, like as object name dot variable name, assign the value, simply say insert ACC, automatically record will be getting inserted for you. Now, whenever you are trying to be inserting this record, it is giving that indication to you system.dml exception insert failed, nothing but your record cannot be inserted. Why? Field custom validation exception, nothing but one custom validation has been filed which is causing some issue to you. What is that? Please enter account site value, nothing but for the site we have made that field as mandatory, but you did not supply the value for that. This field is your record cannot be inserted without entering the value for this field. Nothing but whatever the validation rule that you have created, that is not only firing at the client side, whenever you are inserting the record through the other alternative channels like as Apex programming or by using the data loader, by using any other third-party tools, always these validation rules will get fired to you. In all the cases, it will get fired. Like as no need to maintain separate validation rule set in the client side, no need to maintain separate validation rules at the database side. Okay, one set of validation rules we can able to use in both the places also, client side as well as server side also. So now for that, we are having this validation rules are available. So now I'm passing the value for this record also. ACC dot site equals to, I am going to be entering some value like some IT division. So now I'm giving that site value as IT division. Now click on execute button so that your code will be getting executed for you. The request has been sent to the server. Salesforce is going to be creating the record for you. Now let's go to your Salesforce instance. Go to your My Customers. You have your record, nothing but record has been created, sample tester record. Whatever the data that you have entered, those values has been getting populated inside these fields automatically, along with the account site value as IT division. Nothing but here, validation rules are not only firing at the time of creating the record by using page layout, at the time of creating the record through Apex programming, also it will be getting fired for you. Okay. Now, if you want to go to that navigation, how to create that record through programmatically, just to go to this, Salesforce instance, you are aware of that the developer console. Just click on that developer console. It is providing one editor to you. And then simply click on a shortcut Control E. Or else you can go to the debug menu. Okay, go to the debug menu on the top of that, the developer console editor. Expand this debug menu. Click on the first option, execute anonymous window. You can click on this one, or else you can use Control E as a shortcut.
Control.
Automatically it will be opening that editor. Inside this, we can write some code. We can execute this code. Okay. So this is a way we are going to be creating the validation tools. So in tomorrow's session, we'll see some more functions given by the Salesforce to make this validation tools on the multiple fields with the different functions. We'll see practically over there.
Okay. Firoz, just one observation I had.
Okay.
See, this address, this billing address, it shows as one field. But it's a collection, right?
Yes.
It's a collection of.
It's called as a field set. It's called as a field set. So now,
field set. Okay.
Yeah, it's a field set. Billing address and the shipping address, mailing address in the contact object. These are the field sets. So that when you double click on that field, automatically 5 fields will be visible to you. Billing address, you will be having billing street, billing city, billing state, billing postal code, billing country. These are the 5 fields set.
Okay. So do they have a different object underlying them, or is it?
So no, we don't have any other object inside this one. They are going to be maintaining like as a collection of fields inside that.
Okay. So so what I'm saying is, if I look at the account and the address in the account record itself, I'll find one of the columns or like multiple columns which would refer to the address, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
So in tomorrow's session, we will see some more validation functions. How can we validate the data inside that?